thankful for how they add value to your team and to your life personally. You know, if you do that, if part of your IPA was you did it like to 5 people every day, that's going to fill you too. You know, that will fill you and that will fill your people. And I think that that's so good. Okay. Da, 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 da. And then the last page is someone
like old country. He sounds like old country.
Oh, Megan, I'm not able to mute people because I'm not in charge. If you guys could just all mute yourselves, that would be good. Unless you want to speak. If you want to speak, please do. I don't need to be the one talking the whole time. I love the last page, the take action page. Do it. Have a person. Did you write a person down that you're gonna take care of, you're gonna mentor, you're gonna walk alongside? And did you write like why you chose that person, what you have to offer this person, and what you're gonna do with them? I did that. And that's my goal for this next week. One person on your team, in your life, how are you gonna walk alongside of them and just love them? Just love them. Okay, anyone want to say anything about, I'm frozen. Can you all see me? Oh, I see myself now. Anyone want to share anything else about chapter 5, the law of addition, before we move on to the law of solid ground? Or you could type it, or you could speak it. Are you good? Okay.
Amy, I'll just shout out really quick. There's people on the team. Let's see, I don't know who's all on here. Is Cassie still on here? Oh yeah, she is.
She was, yeah.
Cassie. She's someone people's stuff pops into my news feeds at different times. So I'm sure there's other people that do this, but she is so consistent at shouting out her people. Every month, top PV people. Every month, I can't remember, top enrollers, or she's recognizing people for different things. And I think it's so huge. Like, it's such a simple thing to do, but it's hugely beneficial to the people on our teams. And I know Melody's chat thread is always, where's Melody? Oh, there she is. Melody's chat thread is always like empowering people and encouraging people. I see her chat more than her team page. I don't even know if I'm on her team page. Anyways, when someone has a win, they're shouted out and like everyone's in there celebrating. So that's something to just keep in mind if you, as your team grows, or just to make it a focus, because I know there's some months where a couple of years ago when it was rather slow in Plexus, and I started to just, it goes back to that, like what we focus on expands.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I want to encourage people that are adding people. So every day or every couple days, I would just go look and see who on my team had sponsored people. And I personally like went to them and just said, like personally messaged them and said, hey, congratulations. I just saw you shouted out. Or I mean, I just saw you added a new ambassador. And so I took time to personally message, and they weren't like necessarily my personal people that I had sponsored. But I took time to shout them out. Yeah. But it really, I feel like it helped momentum on the team just because I took time to like really recognize the things that I wanted to see more of.
And doing that is free.
Yeah.
Recognition is free, but it goes a long, long ways. You know, there was that quote one time, I don't know, I think it was in a Maxwell book, where the coach told his team, he's like, if ever, you know, someone makes an assist and they assist you in your shot, you go and you high five them. And he's like, well, what if that person isn't paying attention? And he's like, trust me, he's always paying attention. He's always watching, you know, wanting and waiting for that recognition, and it's free. And so I think I think that's so important, and that's so good. And I could always do better with that as well. So that's such a good reminder to me as well, because it is free. And who doesn't love to be recognized and valued just for being faithful, being consistent, adding value, all the things.
It helps our people remember or see that we see them. You know what
I mean? Yes, I see you.
That they're seen and that they're appreciated. And yeah, I mean, I have so much growth to do in that area. But I think sometimes asking for it too, like that's not a wrong, or that's not like tooting your own horn or anything. If you like missed a shout out, or you are like, oh, she forgot to shout, like reach out to your sponsor, because I am sure it's an oversight and they would gladly celebrate you. And that's not weird, because it is network marketing. So we want your networks to see your wins.
Totally. Yes. Yeah, it's so good. I love that. So, so good. Okay, let's go on to chapter 6, or law 6, the law of solid ground. Trust is the foundation of leadership. So his first paragraph, how important is trust for a leader? It is the most important thing. Trust is the foundation of leadership. It is the glue that holds an organization together. Leaders cannot repeatedly break trust with people and continue to influence them. It just does not happen. Agree or disagree? Yeah? Yeah, totally. I think that's so good. Okay, whenever a leader breaks the law of solid ground, he pays a price in his leadership. I'm over on page 55. No leader can break trust with his people and expect to keep influencing them. Trust is the foundation. Violate the law of solid ground and you diminish your influence as a leader. And he talks about how our team, they can forgive honest mistakes. I can forgive an honest mistake easily. I can totally forgive if I see my leaders learning, they're growing, they're babies, kind of growing in this role of leadership. Not a problem. If you lie to me, or if you tell me you're going to do something repeatedly over and over again and you just do not follow through, that's a different story, right? There's grace for sure. But if I've got someone in my life who makes a promise or they're going to do something, even simple things, but if it's a consistent promise for simple things even, then that starts to break that trust of like, whoa, this is like the sixth time you said you'd do this and you forgot. First few times not a problem, but now, you know what I mean? It makes a difference, right? It makes it a little more shaky. And that's I think even just in little things as well. People will tolerate honest mistakes, but if you violate their trust, you will find it very difficult to ever regain their confidence. That is one reason you need to treat trust as your most precious asset. So you may fool your boss, but you cannot fool your colleagues or your subordinates. I think that's so good, huh? Okay, yes. Okay, so anyone want to give an example? Maybe not give specifics, but an example, number 3 on page 56, of a time when a leader violated your trust. What was your reaction? You could type it, you could unpause yourself. Or anyone want to raise your hand and say, has it ever happened in your life? Have you ever experienced this? It's difficult, right, to regain that. And I think it's just good to be aware so that we don't do that to our people in our life, you know, or if we do, to own it and apologize and say, man, listen, I did this and I'm sorry. And I'm going to work really hard to not let it happen again. I think if we really, really believe and really know that trust is our most valuable asset, I think that's really, really critical. And I think that's really good. Yeah, you lose respect and don't want to perform your best for them, for sure. I agree with this. Do you think, number 4, after your trust has been violated, how is it regained? Do you think it can be regained? I think it can be. I guess it depends. Over time, maybe. What do you think? Typing, speaking. I appreciate honesty and vulnerability. Yes, agreed.
Justin put some notes in mine from when we did this last time, because he had a boss that was like that in road construction. He was like the most feared man in road construction, and it was horrible. Like I was like only the wife, but it was really hard to be in that work environment and just be like constantly beaten down. And anyways, it was crazy. The way this guy led. But Justin said that he thought that could be regained once the trust is violated, but only through forgiveness and then years of faithfulness. But he also put, it depends on the violation.
Yeah. And how hard the person is working to regain it, I think, too, for sure. I think that's, yeah. And then number 5, I thought was really good. Can you think of instances in which you have violated followers' trust? And if so, how will you work to restore it? And I think that goes back to it's wicked easy to point fingers, right? And for me, I think there have been times that I think even when Lisa and I were leading together, we would say things to our team. We're going to do, once we do this challenge, whoever completes the challenge, we're going to do like a retreat at her lake house. I remember we said that one time, and then she sold her lake house. So we're like, shoot, you know, and then life gets busy. And so we just never followed through with that. And so now, you know, if ever there's an incentive or if ever there's a thing like that, we say, let's not be quick to jump on and make a live video and do a rah-rah if we don't think for 100% sure we can follow through. You know what I mean? If we're going to make a promise to our people, we have to follow through with it, because otherwise we're just blowing smoke. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I don't want to be hasty to point fingers and not point them back at myself too, and be like, even in the little things, right? Faithfulness, even in the little things, I think is super important. Okay, so under learn on page 56, trust is the foundation of leadership. How does a leader build trust? By consistently exemplifying competence, connection, and character. People will forgive occasional mistakes based on ability, especially if they can see you're still growing as a leader, and they will give you some time to connect. But they won't trust someone who has slips in character. In that area, even occasional lapses are lethal. And I think that's where we talk about it depends on the violation. If it's a violation of character, it's big, right? And in his words, it's lethal. And so I think that that's pretty crazy. Sorry, I'm just trying to, yeah, I'm reading some comments. I think that's good. Takes redos to build the trust again. Yes. Okay. Norman, this man, General Norman, he talks about leadership is a potent combination of strategy and character, but if you must be without one, be without strategy. Character and leadership credibility always go hand in hand. So I thought that was really good, right? So I might not have the greatest strategy of all the Plexus people in the world, but I can be a woman of character. You know, that's something that's, I can grow in my strategy areas, right? So I think that that's super good. Character makes trust possible, and trust makes leadership possible. Because I trust Megan, I will follow her. And if she has a big, crazy, scary idea that I think's nuts, I'll say, you know what? I trust her. And I also trust that she loves the Lord, she loves her husband, she loves her family. So it's not just character in Plexus, in business, it's character in all of her life. And so I think that that's, there are some leaders that I would not follow. Not even that they're bad people, but there are aspects of their character that I don't respect. And so, you know, and I hope that my team sees that in me, that, you know, they'll forgive my fumbles in learning to lead, but they'll know that they can trust my character and they can trust my leadership because of that. So, okay. Whenever you lead people, it's as if they consent to take a journey with you. And isn't that what this is? We're basically saying, people, come play with me. This is going to be fun. Let's do this together through the ups and through the downs. And let's let's have longevity. Let's not quit when it gets hard. Let's stay the course together. But basically, what is Brooke Hemingway? We're paid to be hope dealers, right? We can't deal hope if people don't trust us, or if they see that we have no quality of character. So, okay, character also communicates consistency. Leaders without inner strength can't be counted on day after day because their ability to perform changes constantly. How important is it as leaders to have grit, especially in this business that goes like this? How important is it to be, as the leader, be the one who has the grit and says, you know what, we're going to stay the course regardless. We're going to do the things regardless because we believe in the 90-day rule, and we believe in consistency. And we also believe that God is the owner of all the silver and all the gold. He's the one who puts kings and queens on thrones, and he can take kings and queens off of thrones when he wants to. He's the one who could explode our business. He could explode it if he wanted to. Our job is to be faithful, and our job is to work like it depends on us and to trust like it depends on him. If you're a believer and you believe in the Lord and you hold this business with an open hand and you hold it loosely, which clearly, you know, I am a believer, so maybe it's easier for me because I say this is God's, and so I hold it like this, and I'm going to work hard. I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to work heartily as unto the Lord and do my best at everything that I put my hands to, but I'm holding it like this, and I'm trusting that it's his, and he can do with it as he sees fit, whatever he wants to do, however he wants to do it, and I'm going to trust him with it, knowing that he puts kings on thrones and takes kings off of thrones, you know. And so, and if he told me to walk away tomorrow, I had better walk away. And if he asked me to run harder, I had better put my boots on the ground and run harder and have grit to stay the course. And so, and I think that makes it simple in a way. You know, it makes it easier to have grit on the slower months, or the months when your team is like, "Night, I love you," or, you know, months where it's just like tedious or whatever. You know, when it's like this, if we can be like this, that will make us be able to last and stay the course. Okay, so character communicates consistency. I am on page 57. Character communicates potential. No man can climb out beyond the limitations of his own character. Weak character is limiting. Talent alone is never enough. It must be bolstered by character. I think that's so good. I just heard that on a message on Sunday at church, actually. Your talent, how did he word it? It was super catchy. But some people's talent can only take you so far if your character can't sustain it. Do you know what I mean? So some people's talent can go just like this, but if their characters can't sustain it, they will never last. And you've seen that, right? People skyrocket to success in, I don't know, the music realm or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like talent alone will get them there, but character is what's going to make them last. And that's just the same with us too. Okay. You don't build trust by talking about it. You build it by achieving results, always with integrity and in a manner that shows real personal regard for the people with whom you work. I think that that is a good goal. It's a huge plexus goal for us as leaders and as teams. So I'll read it again. You don't build trust by talking about it. You build it by achieving results, always with integrity and in a manner that shows real personal regard for the people with whom you work. When a leader's character is strong, people trust him, and they trust in his ability to release their potential. That not only gives his followers hope, but it also promotes a strong belief in themselves and their organization. I think that's so good, right? I'm on page 58, sorry. And the last one is character communicates respect. If you don't have character within, you can't earn respect without. Pretty basic and pretty simple, right? So by making sound decisions, by admitting mistakes, by putting what's best for their followers and the organization ahead of their own personal agenda is how a leader earns respect. Pretty simple, basic stuff, but I think it goes hand in hand with law 5 of adding value to people as well, right? Any comments? Anyone want to say anything? No, it's good. The last sentence before he goes into the discussion is he says, the only thing that walks back from the tomb with the mourners and refuses to be buried is the character of a man. This is true. What a man is survives him. It can never be buried. I think that's good, right? 2 chapters. Lincoln's motives are tied to trust too. Yes. This business exposes us. Yes. Abby Kappa talks about the higher you go in plexus, the less room you have for jerk. The more you need to have the jerk removed out of you. I was like, yes, that is so very good. So true. Okay. Anyone have anything else? Okay. Application, page 61. How trustworthy would your followers say you are? Answer that honestly. How trustworthy do you think your teammates think you are? And if not very, what can you do to fix that and change that? You need to find out whether they doubt your competence or your character. And if they doubt either one, we can take steps to grow that, right? You can grow in your competence. You can grow in your leadership. I feel very weak as a leader in network marketing because it's so very foreign to me, even 4 years in. So every single month I am reading a personal development book, a personal growth book. Every single month, that's a goal of mine. 10 pages a day, man, you can do it. Every time you go pee, read a page or 2. It can be done. So, but to always be raising your leadership lid, right? Because my team is capped at my leadership lid. And so if I stop growing, if I stop learning, what do I have to give to my team? So that's why we always talk about that. You will always hear us talk about personal growth. You'll always hear us talk about mindset, because mindset, as a man, like Megan said earlier, what we think about expands. The Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If you think you're a cracktastic leader, then that's what you're going to bring forth to your team. So grow in your leadership skills, lift your leadership lid, surround yourself with people who are better than you and grow with them. You know, I think that that's so important. Okay. What are you currently doing to develop your character? I recommend you focus on 3 main areas: integrity, authenticity, and discipline. To develop your integrity, make a commitment to yourself to be scrupulously honest. Don't shave the truth, don't tell white lies, and don't fudge numbers. Be truthful, even when it hurts. To develop authenticity, be yourself with everyone. Don't play politics, don't role play, don't pretend to be anything you're not. And to strengthen your discipline, do the right things every day, regardless of how you feel. I think that is so good. So good in all areas of life, but in your business, in your family life, in your home life, in your social media life, in your ministry life, in all areas of life, those 3 areas, if you focus on those 3 areas, I think that's huge in your marriage, as a mom, as a dad, like growing in integrity, authenticity, and discipline. I think that's so, so important. Mark Batterson, one of in all of his books, I love his book so much, and he says, beginning of every single one of his chapters, the goal of his life is to be famous in his home. And do you know why? As an Enneagram 3, this resonates because, yeah, the world can think you're amazing, right? And you can be amazing for an hour at church on Sunday, and you can be awesome for a few hours at work, and you can be awesome, pretty epic on a little trip with your team, right? But in your home, that's the people who know you the best, right? They know you the most. They know your scars. They know you're ugly. They know you when you're not, putting on your flares. And so that's why he says, I'm guaranteed he's a 3. I know he is. He always talks about all these things he wants to accomplish in his life and all these grand things. But he says, my goal is to be famous in my home. If my family respects me and my family would follow me, and my marriage is solid and my kids love me and respect me, if I'm famous in my home, that is a success, right? Really, everything else outside of that's details and white noise, right? Because our family knows the true us. They know the jerk that lives within. And so I just think that that's so good, just to kind of view it through the lens of that. The people who know you the best, warts and all, do you measure up? Are you trustworthy to them? Do you have solid character with them? Are you authentic with them? Are you the famous part is just like, do you know what I mean? What I mean by that, I want to be famous in my home. I want the people who know me best to love me most and to respect me the most and to trust me the most, I guess. I just think that that's so good. Okay. Okay, and if you do mess up, the goal is to make things right? Commit to work at re-earning trust. We're all going to hurt somebody. We're all going to damage trust in our life. I'm sure of it. So the goal, he says the onus isn't on them for them to trust. The onus is on us to earn it back. And so to work hard to earn that trust back from our people. So own it, apologize, be authentic, and do your best to earn it back. I think that that's super important. Okay, the greater the violation, the longer it will take. Okay, and then the take action steps, I think that's really, really good. Overall, how would your team rate your competence, high or low? Have there been times when mistakes you have made held the team back? If so, do you think it's damaged people's trust in you, and how can you repair it? Good questions to kind of sit and think about, right? To kind of just sit with a little bit. List the names of the people on your team. Next to each name, give an example of how you have made an effort to connect with that person. That really goes back to the previous chapter too, right? The leaders on your team, even the happy wholesalers on your team. If you want them to trust you, if you want to add value to them, list them and then say, when was the last time I really connected with them and really did my best to take care of them, to check in on them, to add value to them, to walk alongside of them. So, okay. And then how does your level of connection affect your ability to lead or work with the people you listed? Who should you spend more time connecting with, and how do you plan to do this? And then you have to give yourself a grade in all of these areas. So I thought that's good. It's good to sit and think like, I think people either do one or the other, depending on how you view life. People either like give themselves like really horrible scores, like I am a worm, I'm a loser, I'm a jerk face, or like I'm not that bad, I'm pretty good. I give myself like a 9.5. You know what I mean? So I think like sitting and like honestly like, you're not a worm and you're not as awesome as you think you are. Okay, so that middle ground there, and then work to love your people well and to grow in those areas. That's all I have for those 2 chapters. I know I kind of whizzed through them, but it's almost 10, so I didn't want to have people be stressed and be up late. But does anyone have anything they want to add before I sign off? Blessings on you guys. Oh, go ahead, Megan.
Have you ever invited someone to rate you on the areas of character?
Me personally?
Yeah, or didn't it say?
We had to do that one time with a book study with Jessica Heffley. Remember?
Wasn't that the Secret Code of Success, maybe? Or
it was one of those books. We had to have people on our team and our leader rate us. It was super stressful.
I know. I don't think I did it with. I can't remember. Maybe I did. I know I
But
did.
it's good. It's humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was specific people I asked.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it
it's
is.
specific people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good. Or have your spouse do that. Like if you can be that honest with each other, like what areas do you see of where I need to grow in? What areas do you see? Um, Megan was talking, I don't know if you guys saw an exercise she put on the team page, which I think is super, super good. List, again, depending on your personality, maybe like one of the exercises is to list 20 things that you bring to the table as a leader, like 20 good qualities about yourself that you bring to the table. And some people can't even list one or two. You know what I mean? And then there's some people who can list 1,000 but can't think of one or two negative qualities about themselves. So there's balance, right? Because we all bring great things. God made you. You are, the Bible says, Ephesians, what is it, 2:22, you are his masterpiece. You are his workmanship, his work of art, created to do good things. So he has made you uniquely you, crazy, wonderfully made you to bring awesome gifts to the table. So you have awesome gifts to bring. And then we also have, areas of jerk in our life that need to be refined. And so I think it's important to list and to be aware of those as well. That is why I love the Enneagram. One more plug for the Enneagram for those of you who have not studied it at all. The Road Back to You by Ian Cron. The difference with the Enneagram as opposed to any other personality assessment, Myers-Briggs, DISC, anything like that, is the Enneagram actually admits that we have like a dark side. We have a sin nature. We have a struggle. We have sins that our numbers specifically struggle with. And so like information is just information isn't transformation, right? Like the Myers-Briggs will be like, this is who you are, go and live in who you are. Whereas the Enneagram, they say like, no, anyone who wants their ego stroked should never study it. Because the Enneagram is like, this is who you are. These are the motives that drive you. This is the sin struggle, the character flaw that you struggle with. And awareness is super important. Super important to know like the tendency that you go toward when you're under stress or when you're overtaxed. There is a specific sin character issue that you tend to struggle with. And awareness is half the battle. And then giving it to the Lord to transform us is the beauty of it. But that is the only assessment that is out there in the world that actually says, actually, this is who you are. You're pretty great, but you have some struggles too, where most assessments are like, you're an introvert. Yay, go live in your introvertedness. It doesn't give you things on how to grow. Do you know what I mean? And so I think that is hugely, hugely life-changing for year 20 of Kev's and my marriage. That's how much that book has been like just pivotal in our marriage 20 years in. And we had a major life change. We just went through major, major life changes, complete. We left a church that we've been a part of for 6 years. There was no sin. The Lord moved us. It was very clear, but we grieved it. A new chapter, right? Ministry, new chapter of life. So it's super exciting, but it was just the timing of that book was just pivotal for us in our growth as a couple and in how we handle change, how we handle hard. So good. And so I think leaders are learners, and knowing yourself is half the battle to be able to lead well. And then knowing your people that you walk with as well and take care of as well. So anyway, that's what I have for the night. Do you want to close us out with anything at all, Megan, or are we good?
Sure. Yeah, I was just going to say, if you haven't done that weekend homework, we'll make it homework for this week for the call. Before you come back next Monday for the law of respect. And let's see what the next one is. The law of intuition. Let's do that homework that I posted on the team page. I put it in the threads. I can repost it, but basically it's a 2020 list. A lot of you did that at Leaders Retreat, which is a very effective exercise. And if you're a leader and you have a team, I would duplicate that down in your team. You can even incentivize them to do the things. It can be something as simple as like a $5 Starbucks gift card so they can go and get a free tea or coffee, right? Just something simple, but it's important to know 20 good things about yourself and 20 good things about money. And then the Chris Harder podcast, I listened to it twice. I feel like I need to listen to it again. It was phenomenal. It's basically 10 characteristics and traits of highly successful / millionaires. And it was just really, really, really interesting to listen through that. So anyways, Amy, you were awesome. Thank you for hosting. You guys, proud of you for being on. Have a great night.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.